Hi, I'm Jill Duffy. Welcome to PCMag Live. I'm here with Sascha Segan today, and the top news story that everyone's talking about is that Google Fiber may be coming to Portland, Oregon. Google Fiber is, of course, this high-speed internet that Google has been rolling out sort of in a beta test period with a few select cities, starting with Kansas City. Sascha, what else do we know about what's happening in Portland now?
Well, it shows how desperate Americans are to have real broadband competition, how thrilled everyone is every time Google Fiber announces a new city. So Google has said or rather, Portland City Council approved a franchise agreement with Google this week to bring high-speed fiber, potentially, to Portland. Google has not committed to any particular neighborhoods. They're not obligated to serve the whole city, which makes me a little nervous. There you got your digital divide right there. But they may offer internet service to Portland residents for a $300 installation fee plus $0 a month, because Google, of course, makes tons of money through other things, mostly advertising, and just wants to get more people online.
And Portland, of course, is a very high-tech city, so people there are very much in favor of this, it sounds like, so far.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, everybody's in favor of Google Fiber because everybody's in favor of broadband competition. The vast majority of Americans only have generally two options for high-speed home broadband. It's usually cable or DSL, and they're looking for more competition. Now, unfortunately, many cities out there have dark fiber from the 90s, but 20 states at this point have laws against cities and towns using them to establish municipal networks. So everyone's looking to companies like Google to try to break the cable DSL duopoly.
Also in the news this weekend is that Bitcoin may be vulnerable. The problem is that one group owns too much of the hashing capabilities. Is that what it is, Sascha?
Yeah, it's the computing power that's used to calculate Bitcoin transactions. It turns out Bitcoin has a vulnerability where if one person or organization controls more than 51% of the computing power that's used to calculate the blockchain, the accounting book of Bitcoin, then they can do sneaky things like spend Bitcoins twice or block other people's transactions. And the people who are, the Bitcoin thinkers are now worrying about what does this mean for Bitcoin? What does this mean for its stability? Is it time do they need to fork Bitcoin? Should they be moving people into other cryptocurrencies? Should they just be incenting other organizations to get more hashing power so that no one has a majority? It's a real question around Bitcoin's stability that, it's just question number 96 around will this ever be a mainstream currency that people can rely on?
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are excited by Bitcoin, but I think you're right that it's just too indeterminate right now. How is it going to work? Who's going to own it? How much fluctuation is happening with it? There's just too many questions, I think, for it to be considered something reliable.
We're still at version 0.01 of this kind of thing.
In other news, the World Cup, of course, was the big story this weekend, and goal line technology is being used for the first time in this cup. So we finally had our first scoring goal, which was determined by the technology. Did you see this? This was a match against France and Honduras. I don't suppose you watched this match, did you?
No. It was a beautiful weekend. I was out with my kids. So why don't you tell me how the goal line technology determined the controversy?
Right. So in sports, I'm actually a big believer that in sports we shouldn't use too much technology. But this is the first World Cup where we actually have goal line technology being used to say whether the ball has gone over the line. This was a beautiful strike done by France. It hit the side of the goalpost, didn't go in, bounced back. The keeper jumped on the ball and trapped it. And the goal line technology said, no, in that transition, the ball actually did cross the line. So it was a 3-0 victory anyway by France. That was not really the deciding goal, but nice to see that technology is being used in this way. And I guess some people sort of have some mixed feelings about it, though.
Yeah, I mean, considering that human refs miss things pretty often, I mean, I don't know much about soccer, but I do know about the hand of God. So the fact that computers are now involved just I don't know, shifts the blame.
Let's take a reader question. This is from Kim, who asks via email, I'm going to Italy for 2 weeks. What are the pros and cons of roaming with Verizon versus buying a local SIM?
Okay, if your Verizon phone is a world phone and you take it to Italy, you want to call Verizon in advance. You can buy a 100 megabyte data package for $25, and then it'll be 50 cents to send a text and either 99 cents or $1.29 a minute for calls. So that's kind of expensive. You can save a lot of money by going there and buying a local SIM card and putting that in your phone. Now, you'll lose your US number, you'll gain an Italian number, and you'll have much lower rates. The problem is actually buying and setting up the card. I've gone to a lot of countries and I've tried to buy local SIM cards, and the language barrier can be a complete nightmare. It took me like 4 trips to Spain to figure out how to successfully buy and configure a SIM card at a cell phone shop.
Yeah, let's hope that Kim speaks Italian. That'll probably help her out quite a bit.
That's really what it comes down to. If you speak Italian, go buy a SIM card. It'll be great. You'll save so much money.
But wait till you get there.
Yeah, and wait till you get there. If you don't speak a word of Italian, you might want to suck up the Verizon charges in exchange for not essentially losing a day of your vacation to trying to negotiate with a cell phone shop.
I also find that when traveling, using apps like WhatsApp or iMessage, when you can use them over Wi-Fi, is often helpful, as long as you're remembering to do what you need to do when you have Wi-Fi available.
Yeah, and even with that 100 megabyte Verizon data chunk, okay, for $25, and you can buy additional 100 megabytes for $25. If you're using Skype or WhatsApp to make your calls instead of that $1.29 a minute voice calling, you'll save a lot of money by making your calls over the data network.
Right. Let's take a look at one cool thing. Today's one cool thing is the Huawei Ascend Mate2 4G. Sasha, you want to tell us what this phone is all about here? Yeah,
this is an extremely large phone, first of all. It's got a 6.1-inch 720p display, and what makes it special is that it's only $299 unlocked. So if you're looking for a quality phablet with no contract, it works equally well on AT&T, T-Mobile, or any network that uses either of those networks, like Simple Mobile or Straight Talk or Black Wireless, you know, all of these little companies that use AT&T and T-Mobile. You get this inexpensive, really nicely performing phablet that you have a very low monthly rate. So the Huawei Ascend Mate2 4G, you buy it direct from Huawei. It's an Android phone, great big phone, really low price for what you're getting.
And it scored pretty well in our test. For more on that and the score of the Huawei Ascend Mate2, check out PCMag.com. That's it for our show for today. We'll see you next time.